we're going to talk about how much should you spend on advertising. And I feel like this is a total, there's a lot of wasted money in this space right now because people don't know where to put money. So they're just like, well, I don't know. Let's throw some money over here. Let's throw some money over here. And the scarier thing is they don't have a good way to measure whether or not that money's actually being worked correctly.
That's for sure. And sometimes one of the worst questions that I get is, how little can I spend on advertising?
I guarantee their competition's not saying that.
It's a business ownership mindset, right? You're controlling your P&L, but it's like, how little can I spend on marketing and advertising? And really, let's talk about industry standards a little bit, right? Industry standard for a roofing company is 5%.
Mm-hmm. But that's not like, what if you're a fencing company? Would it be 5% the right?
It could be. It could be.
Too?
Yeah, 5 to 10%. I would say is a good.
So generally for most exteriors,
most home exterior contractors for sure. Okay. Once you get into the interior remodeling, I think those companies can spend even more into like the 10% area, more on average.
What is that 5 to 10%? Is that off top line revenue? Total, like if you're a $1 million company, you should be spending about $50,000. You know?
Yeah. Gross revenue goal.
Yeah, goal. Okay. So you want to spend against where you're going, not where you're at right now.
Yeah, spend against where you got to spend to where you're going. Skate towards the puck, right? And so industry standard 5%, right? Mm-hmm. Give or take. Most of the clients that we work with are between 3 and 8%. It's going to change a lot depending on your business, how you generate business for your company. One of the things I like to look at when we're going through and analyzing this for a company is, what was your lead flow last year? Yeah. Right? What did you hit in your revenue? And what was your lead flow to get to there? And how did you get there? So, kind of referencing your guys' study again that you guys did, I think the average contractor was around $2 million. Right.
And that's about the average size of a company. We have a lot of gigantic companies too. But
and then they spent, they invested in their marketing about $100,000. Mm-hmm. I thought that was telling.
Yeah.
I was like, that's 5%.
Right.
And that was just a survey of all of them. But your business it depends on your business. So let's look at what you did last year, right? Yeah. If you did $2 million last year, and in that $2 million, 80% of it was referrals. And 20% of it was from, 10% was from door knocking, and you break down the mix, right, into your lead. Some was from Google, some was from lead aggregators, and like you're breaking down that mix. Now your goal for this year is $3 million.
Yeah.
There's a gap.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't get there on the same engine you got on to where you are right now.
Exactly. So my question I always ask is, if you didn't do anything different than last year, would you hit the same revenue that you would hit, right? Yeah. Would you hit that $2 million again? And most of the time the answer is yes. Mm-hmm. So then what a contractor needs to think about is, how do they buy that extra $1 million in market share? Yeah. Because that's what you're doing. You are buying market share. So that's why that varies, 3 to 8%. I've seen startup companies investing as much as 20% in their marketing.
For sure, in the first couple of years, that might be a smart move.
Because they wanted to go from 0 to 10 to 15 to $20 million. They had huge revenue goals. So they invested in that. A company that we work with wrapped 16 brand new trucks.
Yeah. Nice.
Billboards all over the place.
Wow.
TV advertising. All in on Google ads, Facebook ads, the SEO, like all in, chips on the table. Like we're going. And it works.
Yeah. They crushed it.
But you have to have faith in the outcome to execute on something like that.
Honestly, you're taking a risk.
It's a risk.
It's like, so that's why a lot of people are like,
that's right.
How's the littlest I can pay? Because they're trying to limit the risk.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, if 5 to 10% is sort of like the sweet spot,
yep.
If you're not there, you're probably not going to make it long term. Then why not do 50%? Where's the cap out happen, and how do you know if you're spending too much on advertising?
You'll find out in your P&L at the end of the year for sure.
Because it costs you too much to acquire that amount of revenue.
To acquire a customer, right?
Yep.
So then you're going back into things a little bit more detailed into your customer acquisition cost, your optimal customer acquisition cost, and the long-term value of that customer.
Yep.
So I think that, okay, we need to fill this gap, right? We need to get from 2 million to 3 million. That'll take an 8% marketing effort there. So 3 times 8, $240,000 is what will be invested in marketing. And that's all of your marketing, not just your digital, not just like all of your marketing altogether. And so then when we're looking in there, we're figuring out, okay, what is our optimal customer acquisition cost? Because you should have a target net profit number for your company also, right? Like that's a smart thing to have. Like I want my company to net 10% pre-tax revenue, right? Like, or 12% or 15%, wherever you want to end up. And you can reverse engineer this down to how much would you be able to pay to acquire a new customer to hit those profit margins that you want to hit.
Yep.
And so you want to be able to work on that. As you're going along, this is what we're talking about, measuring. You brought up measuring on a few of these episodes, measuring the KPIs, measuring how things are going. Like now once you've determined this and defined this, now you can measure it. If you don't have those numbers, if the number isn't, hey, our optimal customer acquisition cost is $600. And then you look at the month of June and you're like, man, we're at $825. We're off somewhere.
Yeah, it's costing us too much to acquire customers right now.
Exactly. So now you can look back, 1, at your marketing process, 2, at your sales process, and see where you can improve. Without those key metrics, you'll never get there. But from a budgeting perspective, it's looking at your goal, budgeting for your goal, and then not underspending on that goal.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a JobNimbus customer, you have right inside of there, it tells you can just run an average on like, what's our average deal size? Yep. What's the average cost to acquire a customer? And you can be able to do some really quick math to understand this. You don't have to be like super down to the penny either. It's mostly like trajectory wise, you're trying to optimize your marketing at the same time as acquire more revenue on your goals.
And a lot of times and I'm a marketer, so it's a sore point to me, but we get blamed.
Oh,
right?
Interesting.
We get blamed for things not working.
We didn't hit our numbers. Jim, what the heck?
But then like in our agency, we listen to every phone call that comes into every one of our clients' businesses. Wow. I could tell you some pain points that are there that are not marketing related.
Yep.
Not setting the appointment on that initial phone call.
Crazy, right? We'll call you back to set something up.
Yeah, Joe will call you back in 3 days to tell you when we can be there in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
They're calling the next company, right?
And the next company is already calling back and has it all dialed in and booked them for the next day.
That's right. That's right. And so you gotta, you have to watch your marketing budget, but you have to look at the other levers that turn that marketing budget into ROI.
And really what we're talking about there is optimization.
Optimization.
Okay, that's like the 2 main things I'm hearing here is that we've got to have like a focus on the costs. So in this cost structure, so we know that's how you can tell 5 to 10% is your sweet spot. Generally speaking, that's where you should be. Yep. If you're brand new in the market, maybe you want to go higher. Also, if you're super aggressive in what your goals are, like we're trying to double or triple the company, you may want to go higher.
Yeah.
And then you want to focus on optimizing those things.
Yeah. And that really makes me think about being careful and cognizant of the fulfillment of your services.
Yeah.
Right. You can break things quickly. If you go all in and you go hire 10 sales reps and turn on all your ads and
you may not be ready for that.
You may not be ready for that. So if you are looking at slower growth, you can determine your marketing budget. You don't have to keep filling a big gap.
Yep.
Fill the little gap. We get a little bit at a time and just keep drawing that up over time.
And I think that's the big takeaway for me is like just do something now. And I like that focus on just a little bit better every day get you there.
Yeah.
It's not the big swing.
That's business.
Yeah, exactly right. Thanks so much for joining us. you've got to go to jobnimbus.com/building business now. We've got a bunch of resources there. There's tips and tricks, there's industry insights, and all of it is free. So go and check it out right away. JobNimbus is the best software tool to get you more organized, more efficient, and frankly, to give you your life back so you can have some life balance as you run your business.
For more information about roofer marketers, go to roofermarketers.com and get a copy of our free book, The Best Known Roofer, the omnipresent framework for your roofing company.